All right, give it a second. Leo's gonna send me a text. We're good, but we should be live here. So it's Friday, end of the month, man. End of the month. We're taking a few minutes here on our live just to bring you guys Carlos Rodriguez. He's a top agent at Keller Williams. So Carlos, thanks for taking a few minutes, man, to chat with us.
No problem, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, so couple of questions. I know you're busy and you're out there doing some deals. Obviously, we've closed a few deals together, but what are there any first-time home buyer programs right now that are still going on with this whole COVID?
Yeah, man, that's one of the top questions I get almost every single day, and the answer is yes, there is. So I know that there is down payment assistance up to 4% of the purchase price, right? So whatever the price of the home is, it's 4% of that, right? So I always let them know that there is help, even though there's a whole COVID thing going on, and there's been a lot of cutbacks on the programs, but that one is still available, and I'm glad Sean is able to provide that program. So that's why I feel like we're a great team,
Yeah. Hey, so I know that's probably one of the biggest hurdles, right? That a lot of buyers out there, either they're thinking that I have to come in with 20% or I need to have a ton of money to buy a house. Deals that you've done, even outside of working together, have you seen, you've been able to negotiate some great deals, right, for your buyers?
Yeah, it all depends on the property, on how long it's been on the market, and a lot of things. But I always sit down with my clients and see what they want to get out of that deal. What type of offers they want to send, and I basically just guide them through the best scenarios and put
Yep.
them in the best position to get ours accepted over the other ones. Like recently, we had Luis Del. We got him into contract. It was actually the first offer we sent, and it got accepted right away. And we asked for $8,000 towards his closing costs. And
Dang. But wait, let's go back a second because there's more to this story. The guy that you initially, Lewis, right? He initially didn't want to buy, right? When you first
yeah,
spoke to him.
well, he did want to buy it, but he thought he couldn't qualify. He was like, I don't know if I can qualify, man. I don't know if my credit's good enough. I'm like, no worries, let's connect you with the lender, run the application. It doesn't cost anything.
Yep.
And then it turns out he qualified for what, 300?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was like, dude, we should have done it a long time ago, right?
So I want everyone that's listening to this that doesn't own a home that feels the same way, because I know this is something that a lot of people probably feel, that either I can't qualify, I don't make enough money, or they simply just don't know where they stand, right? So like you said, you got them connected with us. We got them approved for 300,000. I don't even think the guy would probably even think he was going to get that, right?
Right.
We got him assistance money, and you got him $8,000 in closing costs.
Yeah. So, man, he got a great house too in the neighborhood he wanted, man. I'm so happy for them. I was probably more excited than they were, because this is my passion, when we get a good house with a good deal, man, I feel like a winner,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, besides the down payment, let's say someone has some money, how much money do you typically see people wanting to put down or able to put down in maybe some of the deals that you've been doing lately?
We've been able to put deals together with as little as like $8,000 sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though there is more help available, something that I gotta make my clients understand is the more help that you get, the interest rate tends to go up a little bit, so their payment is a little higher. So that's why they have the option of getting the 4% or the 2%, whatever they may need at the time.
Yeah.
So that's another conversation I have with them to prepare them, depending on how much money they have ready to go.
Nice. We got Cassie just said hello, Carlos.
Oh, what's up, Cassie?
Give her a shout out. Thanks for watching. In your opinion, do you think it's a good time to buy right now?
I think yes, for sure, 100%. There's a couple of reasons. The interest rates are at an all-time low still.
Yep.
There's a ton of homes on the market. And if you're a buyer, you're in a good position because a lot of people are still not working. So you're not competing against so many other buyers in this market. So you can kind of say it's a buyer's market right now.
Hmm.
And I can actually show you some numbers here. Let me share
Yeah,
my screen
absolutely.
real
Let's
quick.
pull that up. I think that's one thing a lot of people struggle with. It's like, hey, should I buy? Should I not buy? And I mean, I know for ourselves in my office in the last, since March, since this whole COVID thing happened, we we haven't slowed down. I mean, even as a company, we've done more business in the last few months than we probably would have projected. So I think, for people that are out there thinking that this COVID, and obviously, we understand it's affected some people where they're not working and all that, but for the ones that can qualify and buy, it's a great time. I mean, there's people that are collecting unemployment that want to buy a house because they're making more money in unemployment, right? It's
100%.
insane right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see my screen right now? It says market
Yep.
watch.
Yep. So let's walk us through this.
So this is a market analysis right now on the homes that are on the market in the
Yep.
last 7 days, right? So we can see here new listings 832. I want to show you the sold. 509 actually sold. So what that's telling me that the market is moving. The houses that are being put on the market are selling. They're not sitting there,
Super fast.
they're like some people are thinking that people are scared to buy, but that's not the reality. Let me show you 24-hour numbers. New listings in the last 24 hours, 170. How many sold? 112. Like it's crazy. And then let me just show you this. The price decrease, 166. So what does this tell me? It tells me that there's 166 sellers that are motivated to sell, that were willing to lower their prices to attract more buyers. So
Do you think maybe some of those sellers might have gotten a little? I mean, I know it depends on how long the home's been listed, but do you think some of those homes might have been overpriced from the beginning and they were just trying to take advantage maybe of the market, or an agent that just, hey, yeah, we'll get you an extra 10,000, and now they're having to come back down on price?
100%. I think it has to do a lot with the agent. Didn't educate them enough on how the market is looking, and now they're having to price decrease it. When I get a listing, the first thing I do is show my client the houses around his neighborhood, the ones that have sold and the ones that are even active, because
Yeah.
the ones that are active, that's your competition, and we want to make sure that we can beat them off the bat. We're going to be priced better. And that enables us to sell the property within the first week,
Hmm.
you know? So it has to do a lot with the agent.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You got some more stuff for us?
I think I wanted to just focus on this for now.
Okay.
Let me get back on the camera here.
I got you. Those some good stats, man. I mean, you can see almost every home that's being listed, at least in the last day and the last week. I mean, they're going right into contract. So, that again, that shows the market activity. And I think last month there was still at least 3,000 homes that sold right here in Vegas.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it was a slight dip, but nothing drastic to where, I mean, people weren't on the sidelines. I think a lot of people are waiting, thinking that there's going to be this crash. So what do you think? Do you think there's going to be some sort of crash or, correction?
I think it's always a possibility, right? It's not
Yep.
impossible. But what I'm seeing is that casinos are opening back up this week or next week, I believe.
Yep.
The stadium is opening up. That's going to give hundreds of people jobs. Everything's slowly going back to normal. And even though it's not going to be the same normal, it's still going to be open for business. People are going to start traveling. I don't see a dip anytime soon, especially with the interest rates, how they're going, houses are selling. The only time I would get worried about a dip is if the homes are not selling and they're just sitting on the market for 4, 5, 6 months,
Yep.
that's when the dip is coming. But from what you saw now, I mean, the houses are
It's
selling
moving.
right
It's
away.
moving. Cassie has a question. She said, "Do you guys think that the market is going to be steady, or do you think there will be an increase or decrease in values with everything going on?" I think
Huh.
you touched on some of that. I think the market's been pretty steady, right? That you've been seeing.
It's 100% steady. It's really balanced for sellers and buyers. As far as the increase, I don't think anytime soon. Maybe next summer. The whenever we see an increase is when there's less homes for sale and there's more buyers.
Do you know how many months of inventory we might be sitting at right now? It's been
Uh,
a while since I looked at this, but I think it was more towards a buyer's market where 6 months of inventory is kind of an equilibrium, right, for the market. So anything less than 6 months is considered a seller's market, and anything more than 6 months is considered a buyer's market. Do you have an idea of kind of where the supply is at this time?
I think it's around. I should have looked. It's not more than 4 months though.
Okay, so it's
So
pretty close to kind of an even market then.
yeah, it's from 3 to 4 months. That's what it's been fluctuating at, and that's why it's like anybody that's renting right now, that's like my target audience because they're just spending so much money every year and they don't even realize it.
And rents are going up every year too.
Exactly. So I just make this simple example. Like if you're paying 1,200 a month in a year, you spent $14,400 on nothing. Once
Yeah,
you move out, you don't see that money. That money's gone.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know. And whenever you renew your lease, they might increase the rent. They might change things around. But if you take this $1,200, buy a home, you are guaranteed that same payment for at least 30 years if you don't want to move anywhere, you know?
And you're building wealth. You're building some equity, man.
Exactly. And those 14,000 that you're putting into the home every year, when you sell the house, you're getting that money back. It's an investment.
I
And
think I think the thing that I always share my story with a lot of our renters or first time buyers too, because that's the question, Cassie, that we always get. Is it a time to buy? And I think everyone tries to time the market. I've heard this analogy used before where this guy said take a tennis ball, right, and drop the tennis ball and try to take a picture of it when it just touches your table. That's what you're trying to do when you try to time the market. It's literally impossible. You're either going to get it on the way down or on the way up. And I bought my first house when I first moved to Vegas back in, I think, like 2010. And it was during the foreclosure crisis. And I paid 175 for the house, but it was going for maybe like 380 back in the heyday. And the market still continued to go down right from that time frame. And I think the lowest it went down to is like 120 or something like that. But I always tell people, real estate's always been a long-term investment, right? I never bought that house with the intent of, hey, I'm going to flip this in a year or two to make money. It was,
right.
I need a place to live. And I didn't really care where the value went. So I think for a lot of people, they need to get away from that idea of, oh, well, I want to buy at the bottom, or what if my home loses value? Okay,
Yeah.
well, if you're going to stay in your home for the next 5 to 10 years, it doesn't matter if the house goes down $5, $10, $20,000 because you're still going to be in the home, right? And to this day, I still own that house, and it's probably worth almost $350,000 again. So if I would have bought that house 10 years ago, thinking that what if the market goes down? I'm going to lose, right? I paid 175. The lowest I seen it go was for 120. So I lost 50 grand of equity technically, but now it's worth, I've got almost $200,000 of equity in the house. And there's no way in that time frame, right? For the average person, can you go and save $200,000? There's no way, right? I mean, we're talking about down payment assistance for most people to come up with 10,000 to buy a house, let alone can you pocket 200 grand. So I think it's a great thing for people to really take a look at, like building wealth. And like, working with an agent like you, that you can negotiate like closing costs and all this other stuff for them that can minimize their out of pocket to become a homeowner.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I remember back in 2009, I had one of my uncles wanted to buy a house, and my dad was an agent back then as well, and he found him a house for 60K. He's like, "Nah, they're gonna drop more. I'm gonna wait. I'll 60K."
Yeah,
He,
how much lower can it go?
he ended up waiting, and the market started going up. So now he had to buy the same house. I think it was for like 120 or 130. And it's like, dude, 60K, you can't beat that. But that mentality that you're talking about is a lot of people are sticking to that mentality and end up losing most of the time.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so yeah, good point.
And I think that's where, regardless of where they stand, I think if a thought of owning is in their like goals, I think they need to sit with an agent, right, or sit with a lender just to see where they are. Because like you said, if they're paying 1,200, 1,500 a month in rent, that's a mortgage payment, right? And I mean, we don't need to talk about the guys that are paying 1,800 and 2,000 a month. I mean, that's a no brainer, but we see it every single day that they're just throwing money away. They're not building wealth, and it kind of sets them back. We have a question from Tammy. She said, "Do we help people on disability?" Absolutely, Tammy. Yes, we do. They can still qualify for loans. And obviously we can get you qualified. Carlos is a great agent that knows the market and can help you find a home. So that's definitely doable.
100%.
What else do you kind of foresee for maybe the rest of the year, Carlos?
I don't think the prices are going to go up any more than what they're at right now. I think it's a great opportunity for buyers to get into something right now. We have the more leverage as a buyer to ask for closing costs, to even offer a lower price than what they're asking for. So it's a great time to get in there and start sending offers in. And the first step is always to get with an agent, and we can connect them with the lender, right? The
How
lender.
how important is that pre-approval? Because I think a lot of people they get excited, right? It's like I might see a house, I'm looking on Redfin or whatever on the weekend. I see a house, I call a realtor, I want to go see the house. How important and why is it important to talk to the lender first?
Because once you have to talk to the lender first, because we have to know how much you can qualify for. If you're looking at properties that are worth 350,000, I mean that's great. They're beautiful homes, but we have to verify your income, your credit, and everything to see how much you can actually qualify for to buy. So we don't want to waste your time showing you homes where you're not going to be able to buy. Once we get the pre-approval letter from a lender, then we know exactly what price point to target. So you can be successful in your home hunting. You know.
Good points. Good points. Yeah, I think that's always a struggle too. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to run my credit yet. I want to go look at the house first.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we all want to make sure that you are successful. And your experience um, is enjoyable, right? Because you hear these horror stories of people that buy and it ends up not working out. So, guys, if you're out there listening, again, if you're not working with us, I mean, understand the process, because that's really important. We don't want to skip any steps, and we're doing this in everyone's best interest. So that way you get into a home, you enjoy it, you're comfortable with your payment, and you're going to be successful, with your investment.
Yeah. Hey, Sean. So a lot of people are hesitant on running their credit because they're scared it's going to drop 30 points. How much does the credit actually drop when you pull credit?
It's usually just a couple of points. I mean, for most people, if you go out and you charge your credit card on, tonight, let's say you go out to dinner. I mean, your credit card balance is going to increase, which would essentially drop your credit score as well. So, it's a necessary evil, right? And I always tell people that, if you're serious about buying, it's something we have to take a look at. And it's not going to be, like you said, a 30-point drop. It might be a point or two, but that point or two can really help set you up for your purchase. Because there's a lot of times that there are things on your credit report that you're not going to be aware of, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes we get these clients that are like, hey, I want to buy in 6 months. I'm going to wait until then, pull my credit and go. But what happens when you pull your credit at that point? Your lease is up in 60 days. You just found out there's something on your credit report that you had no idea was there. And now you got to go fix it. And then you're going to have to extend your lease because you don't have enough time to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things of being proactive to understand, okay, it's a point or two today, but it gives me peace of mind knowing that my application is good for 4 months. So I don't have to buy today. I still have time, but I will be successful when I buy versus the guy who waits to the last minute and some crazy shit pops up on your credit report from 10 years ago that you had no idea about that's going to be affecting you in one way or another. So,
Yeah.
it's a necessary evil, man. You got to do it.
Yeah. And one cool thing about working with Sean, he can actually send the application online. You don't have to come to his office and go anywhere. You can do it straight from home, right?
Straight from home. We can hop on a Zoom call. So even though, we're not really meeting a lot of people face to face right now, we can still hop on these calls and at least see each other, have that conversation and answer questions. And, obviously our company, Loan Depot, we're big on technology. So we try to make everything as easy as possible for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And another question that people always ask me, like, is it a good time to buy, right? And my answer is always, you buy whenever you can afford it.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, whenever you have the money, when your credit score is ready. Don't worry about what the market's doing. It's gonna do its thing regardless.
Yep.
So it's either you buy whenever you're ready. That's the answer I give to everyone.
Yep.
So
And everyone has a different situation, right? Everyone has a different motive. And I think right now, maybe it's forcing people to think of maybe I need to buy or I need a bigger home because of all this work from home stuff, right? You never thought that, hey, I needed a home office. Like, look, I'm in my guest bedroom, turn this into the office. And that wasn't my initial intent. But I think for a lot of people, maybe going forward, that now they have to rethink, what do I want in a home? Or maybe, hey, I do need to think of buying because if I'm going to be renting, I don't have enough room to maybe put an office or something in there. So everyone's got a different motivation, and I think that's something they need to think about and not base it on their friend buying or their family member buying. It's like what you said. Hey, can you afford it? And what's the trade-off? And if you're going to be paying rent of 1,200 to 1,500 bucks, why not look at buying?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a good time, and Sean makes it very easy for the client. Just do it online. That's the new thing right now. So I appreciate that, man.
All right, that sounds good, man. Well, Carlos, thanks for your time, dude. Everyone that's following on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be bringing you guys more of these interviews with agents, anybody in real estate that can kind of give their feedback, their insights as to really what's going on in the business day to day. So, Carlos, thanks for your time again, bro. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. You guys stay
All
safe.
right, guys. Happy Friday.
Thank you.